I'd like to show you the new Internet of Things, or IoT, support that we've added with components for specific IoT devices in Rad Studio 10.1 Berlin. We've had Bluetooth LE support in previous releases to talk to IoT devices, and we've had a T-Bluetooth LE component that you could also use to connect to Bluetooth low-energy devices. In Rad Studio 10.1 Berlin, we have a set of components for Internet of Things development that are custom built for specific devices. We also have generic device capabilities as well for Bluetooth LE. To find these new components, you go to the Tools, Get It Package Manager. And in the Package Manager, you'll see all the different libraries, components, tools that are currently available on our Get It server. And we can sort by the different categories. If we just want to see libraries, for example, want to see components, we can also choose the Internet of Things. Right now there's 52 Internet of Things device support that's available on the Get It server. A mixture of blood pressure devices, weight scales, lights, speed indicators. You can hover over them and it'll tell you more about each of these device interfaces. There's our beacon fence technology, where you can specify an area with beacons and then build location-aware applications inside of the beacon fenced area using proximity-based development with Bluetooth LE beacons. So we can go through and see all the different devices that are available. We can also search for a specific device. What I'm looking for is I'm looking for the Polar H7 heart rate monitor that I'm wearing. I have a chest strap with the Polar H7. And all of these devices are part of our ThingConnect technology, which allows you to easily connect to the different devices. So what we'll do is we'll install this Polar heart rate monitor ThingConnect IoT device. And that'll bring in the component pack specific for the Polar H7 smart heart rate monitor. So we click install. We agree to the license. It downloads the component package and installs it into our IDE. So now it's compiling the component, the runtime library parts, and also a sample program that you can use to learn about programming the Polar H7 heart rate monitor. And then once it's installed, it then changes to uninstall, so that if later you don't need the component anymore, you can come back into the Get It Package Manager and uninstall it. And now it's loaded up the sample program that was also available and downloaded as part of the components. We have down here a couple of components. One is the Polar heart rate monitor specifically, and the Bluetooth Discovery Manager. So the heart rate monitor component is type T Polar heart rate monitor. It has a device name and then other properties that we can use as part of working with this heart rate monitor. Also down in the component palette, you'll now see a new category called the Internet of Things. And in there, those two components, the Bluetooth Device Discovery Manager, as well as the Polar heart rate monitor. And if you hover over it, it tells you which platforms each of these works with. The T Bluetooth Device Discovery Manager is a general purpose component for discovering different Bluetooth LE devices. And then the T Polar heart rate monitor is specific to the heart rate monitor. We also have in the Get It Package Manager library, we have a generic heart rate monitor that can be used with any GAT standard heart rate monitor. All right, so this sample application is there just to get you started. It's got a button here that says click to discover BLE or Bluetooth LE devices. So if it's already connected, we'll disconnect from it. And then otherwise, we'll go and call the Bluetooth Device Discovery Manager Discover Devices method. And then if it finds the Polar heart rate monitor, then we'll add it to the list of devices by getting its device name. And then once we have a list of discovered devices, then we can go and turn on the Discover button enabled. And then further down in the demo source code, we'll go and get all of the services that are associated with that device. And we can also go and look and find any of the characteristics as well. And at that point, we can see data coming from the polar heart rate monitor. So it's a nice pre-built sample for you to explore how to use the heart rate monitor component. So on ThingConnect, update and enable a combo box that we can use. On device connection error, disconnect. On device discovered, here we'll add to the list of devices. We might have found multiple polar heart rate monitors, for example. So here in the polar heart rate monitor demo app, we have the Windows desktop view. We can also go and choose a different platform and then, for example, see what it's going to look like on an OS X desktop. We can also go and create or look at what the view might be on an iPhone 4.7-inch device. You can choose and or create views for additional available devices. You can also create your own custom device views. So I'm going to set my target to be my iOS device. Let's just make sure that I've got my provisioning profile set up for all my projects. For development, I'll use my iOS team provisioning profile and my developer key. We've looked at what the code behind for this sample demo program that is included with the download from the Get It package manager for the polar heart rate monitor component. So we'll compile and run this sample over on my iOS device, my iPhone 6. So here the polar heart rate demo has been loaded and is now going to be launched. We can click the Discover Bluetooth devices, looking for heart rate monitor, and there's my Polar H7. My device ID is 2F1E45, so we can select that, and then it's connected now. So we'll click in the combo box, and we see 3 different services: the heart rate, the device information, and the battery service. Then we'll click on the property that we want, for example, getting the serial number, and we'll click the read, and it gives us the serial number of the device. We go back, for example, and choose the battery service. The property we want just is the battery level. So let's read the battery level. And it gives us the value the battery is at 74%. And then finally, we can go and say, get what we really want is the heart rate. And on the heart rate, we can find out what the body sensor location is. So we'll read that. And I'm using the chest strap, so it knows I've got a chest strap versus a ear, finger, and so on. If the device has a notification or indication service, we can subscribe to that service. So, for example, here's the heart rate service. Let's go and get the heart rate measurement property, and we can subscribe to the heart rate. And now it'll tell me what the heart rate is. And so if I move a little bit in one way or another, or jump up and down, you'll see that my beats per minute will change over time. Let's go and look at, in my case, an Android 4-inch phone view. We can run the same application on Android, in my case, the Samsung Galaxy S4, and build and run the same demo on Android. Okay, here comes the splash screen, and here comes the app. So let's click to discover our Bluetooth LE devices. So it's calling the Discover Devices method. And then once it's discovered the devices we're looking for, in this case the Polar H7, we'll click on the device to connect to it. We're now connected, so we can go and look at the different services that are available. Again, heart rate, device information, battery service. Let's choose the heart rate. What is the body sensor location? Let's read that value. Again, I'm using the chest strap, so the heart rate body sensor location is on my chest. Go down here to the services. In this particular case, the heart rate. I want to do the heart rate measurement, and it's a notification property, so I can subscribe to it, and it will start displaying the heart rate. And again, if I start moving around, you'll see that my heart rate goes up as I was standing up and sitting down for a moment. And then when we're done with the device, we just click disconnect and we can switch back to our IDE. I've shown you how to use the Get It package manager to download an Internet of Things ThingConnect specific device component for the polar heart rate monitor. That also includes a sample application that you can use to learn how to build your own custom applications using the polar heart rate monitor and the Bluetooth device discovery manager components. See the calls that are associated with, for example, subscribing to the heart rate on the heart rate monitor. We'll call subscribe heart rate measurement on the polar heart rate monitor. While we're subscribing to the heart rate measurement, if we go back to the heart rate monitor, it has an event on heart rate measurement update. So if we see that event handler, it just goes into the little memo box and it goes and gets the value from the update handler for the heart rate measurement. So that's how easy it is to start programming for the Internet of Things using the tools Get It Package Manager in Rad Studio 10.1 Berlin for all these different categories of devices: smart switches, temperature gauges, door locks, speed sensors, dimmers, gas leak sensor, weight scales, and so on. And having the component pre-built for you by downloading it from Get It Package Manager, it gets installed into your IDE. And along with each of those IoT device component support, we give you a sample application so that you can look at the source code to learn how to use the components in your own applications to build custom applications. So have fun using the Internet of Things components in the Rad Studio 10.1 Berlin Get It Package Manager and start developing for the Internet of Things today using Delphi and C++ Builder.